Welcome to our lightning talk. It's called Ethical Dilemmas in an Open Technical Communication Textbook Lessons in Audience Awareness. We're happy to be presenting at the 2020 Open Ed Conference, and thank you for coming.
I'm Tiffany Reardon, and I'm the program manager at Affordable Learning Georgia.
And I'm Tamara Powell, the director of the Kennesaw State University College of Humanities and Social Sciences Office of Digital Education. In 2015, we began work with a team on a project that resulted in an open ed tech writing textbook that is now called Open Technical Communication. When the Open Technical Communication team began development of its highly successful textbook, we were working to achieve social justice oriented goals both explicitly and implicitly. Explicitly, we were working to create a resource that would provide an essential skill to anyone who wished to gain it, regardless of social status. With textbook adoption in at least 14 states and large download numbers in other countries, this initial goal has been and continues to be met. An additional goal was inclusivity. We worked to make our text inclusive and representative of the wide variety of people and cultures in the U.S. We also wanted to encourage readers to learn about and respect global cultures. In the textbook are ethical dilemmas that students are asked to solve with respect to Velázquez criteria of rights, justice, utility, and care. Here are some of the sample dilemmas, and one is called Too Enticing to Work. Attorney Dawn Riggs has an assistant named Lacey Wilson. She's an excellent assistant. She's extremely attractive. She also has a habit of sometimes wearing very tight clothing. Others in the office have mentioned to Dawn that his assistant could look more professional. Dawn really appreciates the great work that Lacey does, but lately he has found himself noticing more of her physical assets. He decides to fire her because she's too attractive. Evaluate the ethics of Dawn's decision according to rights, justice, utility, and care. Here is a second example: the Fighting Indians. The University of Monroe's mascot is Red Feather, the Fighting Cherokee Indian. When UM played their rival, the University of Fort Brum, UPB hung effigies of Native Americans around campus. At a pep rally, they burned a Native American image as they sang, "Kill the Indians." The Native Americans on campus attempted to persuade Student Affairs that they were offended. Student Affairs dismissed the complaint as from a whining minority. Evaluate the ethics, justice, rights, utility, care of the situation. And here's a third sample called Just a Little Harmless Fun. At the University of Eastern Michigan, the Lambda Gamma Alpha fraternity added a ceramic lawn boy to its front yard. One night at a party, they decided to paint it black and hang it by its neck in a tree. The following day of classes, an African American law professor sees it. He decides to inform the fraternity of the legal ramifications of the spectacle. As he approaches the doorway, a fraternity member throws a chair at him. The professor leaves and informs the administration of the behavior. The school administration holds a hearing where the head of the fraternity apologizes to the professor but says, "I don't think it's really a big deal, and we won't get in any trouble for it anyway." A week later, the fraternity's charter is removed and they're thrown off campus. Was the school administration's action ethical? The answer should be supported by evaluations of rights, justice, utility, and care.
Based on real events, these case studies were provided in the textbook as a way for faculty to touch on ethical problems related to social justice issues. These case studies of unethical behavior were designed as group projects. Students were challenged to analyze them and propose ethical solutions with regard to Velázquez's criteria of rights, justice, utility, and care. We were surprised then when one of our ethics case studies was flagged by a student as insensitive. These ethical dilemmas were taken from news items from 1998 to 2010. The world has changed. In looking at the research, we found Hodgkinson, Williams, and Trotter advocate for reacculturation, which would respect alternative epistemic positions and acknowledge alternative authorities on what is considered to be worthwhile knowledge and dispositions. We came to the realization that in this rapidly changing cultural environment that is the US, we must respect that some examples may be too close to home for a student to analyze objectively. We've removed the dilemmas from the new version of the textbook while we decide what to do with them, and we're mulling over possible responses and solutions. Possible solutions include listening to the student and changing the example to something that might not be so close to home, such as redlining. But we are also concerned. These dilemmas have been used for a decade with no complaints. Could it be that the student misread the criteria or felt that he was asked to justify the fraternity's actions? Please tweet your ideas and what response you would give. Use Twitter hashtag OpenEd20EthicsTalk to let us know. And thank you for coming to our lightning talk.